Am I the asshole for not wanting to use my college fund to pay for my brother's treatment? My parents divorced when I was about 7 because my dad had admitted to having an affair. My mom and I moved out of our house and into an apartment while my dad immediately moved his mistress into our house because she was pregnant with my twin brothers. My mom was devastated, but she quickly picked herself up for us. She went back to school and as a result, she continued climbing up in her career. My mom adjusted better to going from a double-income household to a single income and was able to contribute a substantial amount of money to my college fund. My dad on the other hand had a harder time as he now has to support a family of 4 sometimes 5 on a single income as his wife is a som. My dad did not have much disposable income and so did not contribute as much to the fund. I'm going to finish school soon and I have a good shot at getting into my first choices of college. Unfortunately my brother, 10M, was diagnosed with a kidney disease which has progressed to where he needs to be on dialysis. My dad is drowning in medical debt, so my mom agreed he no longer needed to pay child support. The specialist had suggested a different treatment for my brother as most other treatments didn't help or stopped working and they are running out of options short of a transplant, not doable at this time. This treatment is not covered by insurance and costs a lot. My dad can't take out a loan due to debt. Dad and his wife sat me down when I was over and asked if I would be willing to let them borrow my college fund to pay off my brother's treatment. They offered to pay the money back, but I knew they wouldn't be able to. I really don't want to give them the money because I know if I don't get any scholarships I wouldn't be able to go to the college I want to without going into debt myself. My future would be at risk and I know my dad wouldn't help if I needed it. In addition, the money technically belongs to my mom. I can't just give it away and I know she would refuse to give them the money. My dad and his wife are furious at both my mom and I and is trying to guilt me into it. I do feel terrible for my little brother. Am I the asshole? ETA My dad does have a second job that he works on the weekend, and his wife homeschools the boys and is a full-time caregiver for my brother. My dad's family disowned him when the affair came to light. He did get some help from his brother and sister but they can only give so much. I do think I was his last option. His wife did not have a lot of family. Lastly, of course I would feel bad if something happened to my brother, he's just a little kid, but I would want to help him with my own money and I can only do that if I start my career debt-free. I also don't want to risk my own future. Update. So after I called my mom she left work early and picked me up from Dad's house. She took me for coffee and I explained what happened. After talking a bit she said I could either keep the fund as is and not give Dad the money or we can take the money that Dad had contributed and give that back to him. I told her I wanted to give Dad back the money he put in. After we finish our coffee Mom withdrew the exact amount Dad put in over the years. Mom also matched the amount and added it to give to Dad. I waited in the car while she gave Dad the money and he was upset because the money wasn't enough. Mom told him that is all he's going to get from her and threatened to take him to court if he and his wife keeps harassing me. This is probably the last update as I am going low contact with Dad for now. Thank you everyone of the genuine support and the advice. Not the asshole. The money isn't yours, firstly. It was allocated by your mother for a specific thing. You're damn right you're not getting the money back if you loan them. It was grossly inappropriate for our father to ask for money from you, who I presume is a minor. Not the asshole. You have a lovely, understanding and clear-eyed view of this. He'd never pay you back and you'd be stuck under college debt for the next 20 years. Ask your mom to be the bad guy. She can have her divorce attorney send a letter telling him the funds are hers to control and she's not giving up years of her savings for he and his affair partner's expenses. She can also tell him that she'll take him to court to end his custody if he keeps trying to financially abuse a 17-year-old. That's a bit of a feint since you could choose to go no contact at any point, but it might shock him out of his behavior. Not the asshole. That money is your mom's money that was set aside from her for your college. It was not meant to pay for her ex-husband's kids' treatments. They call it a loan, but it is not. It will never be repaid and your mom will be out thousands of dollars of her hard-earned money. They need to come up with other sources, such as holding fundraisers, car washes, yard sales, GoFundMe, and barbecue do well in my area. Or stepmom needs to work after dad is off work so he can do childcare, or dad needs a second job. They can also look into government aid or medical studies where treatment would be covered. Not the asshole. You need more facts before you make any decision. First, all dialysis in the United States is paid for by Medicaid even if someone is wealthy. A treatment not covered at all by insurance? That sounds kind of suspect. I would want to speak to the physicians directly. If you are an adult enough to be expected to fund the treatment, you are adult enough to get the facts directly. I'm sorry for your sibling, but this is not your problem. This is a problem of your parents making. Maybe this kid's mom ought to go get a job. Not the asshole. Tell them frankly that it's not your money and your mom has the right to use that money as she sees fit. This is not your problem at all. Am I the asshole for giving away an ex-bridesmaid's gift? Throw away for obvious reasons. I recently got married over the weekend. I had a party of 8, but my good friend since high school dropped out a few days before the wedding without any reason. I know her job gets stressful, so I didn't push for an excuse, but she still attended the wedding. When I did the proposal boxes, I told everyone that they should expect to spend about $500 for their outfits and bachelorette stuff. No one seemed to mind the cost. In exchange, I spent a good amount on the bridesmaid gifts like skincare, robes and slippers with their names on it, spa gift certificate, etc. The bridesmaid who dropped out has a basic name, like Hannah. So I just gave her gift box to my cousin since I couldn't get a refund on most of the items. My cousin and my sister were showing off their gifts on TikTok, and my sister told me that Hannah asked her if they paid for the robes during the wedding. My sister didn't think much of the question and told her it was a gift. This morning Hannah asked me when she could pick up her gifts. I told her they were a thank you gift to my bridesmaids and she attended the wedding as a guest, so I gave hers away. Her mom called me and told me I was being spiteful for giving away her gifts, especially since she attended all the bachelorette events, not the rehearsal dinner but the Bach party, dress shopping, and the wedding, and since we have been friends for so long I should have considered her feelings. I told her I didn't even think Hannah was coming and it wasn't a big deal. Was I being an ass for giving it away? It hurt me that she dropped out, but the gifts were for my party. Edit for FAQ. My cousin Hannah is 15, so no, she did not contribute financially or attend the Bach in Vegas. The $500 included the dress, flight, and Vegas house. My flight was the most expensive, and my mom paid for that. The shoes, accessories, and makeup was up to them. My mo took care of their finances, so I don't know anything about that. I spoke with ex-bridesmaid Hannah finally. She did have her dress but gained weight and couldn't fit, and there was no time for alterations, and that's why she dropped out. I could not tell by looking at her. I didn't know, but I apologized for giving away her stuff. Second edit for clarity. There's 2 Hannahs, I know it's confusing. My 15-year-old cousin and my 29-year-old friend, ex-bridesmaid, have the same name. My cousin received the gift, my friend did not. My friend works the stressful job, my cousin does not work. I did not give them the gifts until the day before the wedding. Y'all keep saying I gave them useless stuff, but my BM and everyone else wanted the gifts. That's really not the point of the post though. I'm in America. I've never heard of the bride paying for bridesmaid dresses. The dresses were less than $100. The Bach party was not mandated, but those who went had to pay for their flights and housing just like going on vacation any other time. I think some of y'all are looking too much into this. Planning an out-of-state wedding is hard. My friend and I talked last night. I apologized for giving away the gift and not taking more time to make sure she was okay. She apologized for not saying anything. Her mom was with her when everything happened. My friend was upset, so her mom called me during the heat of the moment because her daughter was upset. Hannah was embarrassed that she couldn't fit the dress, and I was sad that all of this was a miscommunication. She really wanted the robe, so I ordered her another one. Not the asshole. The gifts were for the bridesmaids. She wasn't a bridesmaid, at her own request. In fact, pulling out at the last minute was fairly rude. Even if she was pissed at you giving away her gift, she should have the grace to understand that she doesn't get to complain about your behavior given her own questionable way of operating. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Info. Did she spend money for the bachelorette party? Did she get you a gift? She has a basic name like Hannah. Yikes. You are the asshole. Why did you spend money on gifts instead of buying the dresses? Makes no damn sense. Info. Have you talked with Hannah to find out why she dropped out of your wedding? If a good friend of mine suddenly cancelled on my wedding without any explanation, I think I would be pretty worried that something was going on with them that they didn't want to burden me with so close to such an important event. Am I the asshole for changing my middle name to what my birth name was supposed to be? I was adopted at birth. My adoptive parents and I have a good relationship now, but it was rocky for a few years there. They didn't tell me I was adopted, and I found out in what I consider the worst way when I was 16. a spiteful relative told me. Not out for my best interest, but they got mad at my mom and was trying to ruin her life. It caused a huge fight within the family and everyone focused on the drama rather than my entire life crumbling. I finally ended up in therapy at 18 and have been attending on and off for the past 10 years, currently on. I didn't speak to my parents from the time I was 18 until I was 23. They acted like I was insane for being upset about all this. Eventually, they apologized and began going to therapy themselves. We've slowly rebuilt our relationship. They have since accepted my search for my bio family and upon finding my bio mom, have been amazing with her. My bio mom was coerced into giving me up. She hadn't wanted to, but her family all but forced her. She had no support. My parents didn't know this part but purposefully chose a private adoption so I'd never know I was adopted. My bio mom and I have known each other for 4 years now. She is an amazing, kind and generous woman who is just like me. I spent so long feeling unseen and different. She was like completing a puzzle. My bio dad died when I was 12 and it's devastating to know I'll never meet him. He didn't want to give me up either, but they were very young and again, no support. My bio mom told me she had named me Summer, but my adoptive parents changed it. She understood, but I could tell the name meant a lot to her. I recently got married and am changing my last name. I decided since I'm changing my last name, I'll change my middle name too. It's got no sentimental meaning versus summer, which does to my bio mom as it's her favorite season and I was born on the first day of summer. My bio mom cried tears of joy when I told her. She is so touched. My adoptive parents are pissed off. They say that I have erased them. I kept my first name that they gave me. They say if I had to, I should have just added Summer to my name. Am I the asshole? Edit. Because some people are twisting my words. I am not mad I was adopted. Given my bio mom was coerced and forced, someone had to. I was not given up out of love. My bio parents loved me, but if they had it their way I would have been raised by them. I'm mad I was lied to for 16 years and by my adoptive parents' admission they never planned on telling me. I cut them off because they gaslit me and refused to admit they handled it badly on top of telling me I was crazy for being hurt. I do not need to be grateful I was adopted. I do not need to be grateful they loved me or provided for me. Those are basic things that should be done. I am grateful for a lot, but that doesn't change the awful things they did. My adoptive parents admitted my middle name is meaningless. They picked it randomly, it's the stereotypical Marie. So yes, I am sure. Finally, I did not change my name to be vindictive. I changed it to represent both families. I am not upset my name was originally changed. I get it. I'm just trying to form a connection to my birth family. You are not the asshole for changing your name. In the end, it is yours. They didn't freak out that you were planning to change your last name when you were married, I assume. You weren't erasing them then. They are overreacting in the extreme. For what it's worth, the fact that they never planned to tell you about the adoption at all is just wrong. I never understand that. Family medical history can be pretty important throughout your life if nothing else. You are the asshole. I find it astounding that you are so angry with the people who love and raised you, and yet can take the word of and immediately forgive someone who abandoned you at birth. If I were a psychologist, I might say it's because you know your adoptive parents will never abandon you and therefore you can take your anger out on them rather than the person who actually did, who you may deep down fear will do it again if you ever express that anger towards her. You are the asshole. Your adoptive parents did a lot for you that you seem ungrateful for, like giving you a seemingly normal childhood. Adding the name Summer would have been the better option from my thinking. Your bio parents gave you up because they had no support. How many people put forth the effort and raise their kids without any support? Your bio parents chose not to make the effort. It's hard to be a kid that's adopted, even harder when you learn the truth when you are almost an adult, and not from your adoptive parents but from someone else. I'm glad you could find your birth mother and get along with her. It's so nice of you to put that special name in your full name, still being considered for your adoptive parents because your first name is still the name they gave you. I am sorry for the loss of your birth father that you sadly couldn't meet. Congrats about getting married. Not the asshole, and your adoptive parents should have been honest from the beginning. Am I the asshole for not allowing my maid of honor, sister's boyfriend, to come to my wedding? I, 29F, have told my sister and maid of honor, 28F, that her boyfriend is not allowed to come to my wedding and she is furious. Because I told her no, she has responded by not coming to my bachelorette or bridal party, and she has not been active at all in the wedding process. She thinks that I am being an unfair asshole, as other people are bringing partners that have been together for a shorter time than her and her boyfriend. My sister has been with her boyfriend for about 8 months. They have traveled together and basically lived together. She is sure that she is going to marry this guy. Thing is, when they met she was already engaged to her partner of 10+ years whom all of my family loved deeply. She met her new boyfriend at work, she was engaged and he was married. Essentially, they both had affairs and left their partners to be with each other. I've met this guy and I do not like him at all. 1. He is still married and in the process of divorcing his wife. We've all heard that before. 2. I had an honest conversation with him asking his intentions with my sister and why he ended it with his wife. His excuse was that his previous wife forced him into the relationship and didn't know love was real until he met my sister, which sounds like immature, manipulative bullshit to me. 3. His values are completely different than my sister's, which I believe opposites attract, but on fundamental things that I know my sister feels passionately about. She seems to have made herself smaller and more agreeable with some crazy views. He believes lower-class people cannot be trusted. And also the odd thing that he demands golden showers from my sister, who happily obliges even though I know she thinks it's disgusting. My sister is turning into someone no one in my family can recognize. However, I don't want to lose her if it means having to accept this guy into our family. Being isolated in a toxic relationship is a scary place to be in, and I fear that if I don't invite him into the fold, she will follow him out the door. None of our family members outside the immediate know about her infidelity or even this new boyfriend. I don't want my wedding to be focused on the talk about what happened to her sister. But I really hate how she isn't supporting me, as she is one of my maids of honor and I am the first sibling to get married. My mom thinks I should invite him, as she is sympathetic towards my sister even though she also does not support her recent actions. Am I the asshole if I don't allow my sister's boyfriend to my wedding? Or do I give in to her request and invite him? She only asked me about his invitation after I sent out my table placements charts and catering count. I honestly never thought she would want him to come in the first place since our father does not want him there as well, and culture plays a big part in that. She hasn't told anyone about the guy except for the immediate family, parents and sisters, and she wants to use this event as the opportunity to be his big reveal, if I haven't made that clear. And #X200B. Not the asshole, it's your wedding. But if I'm being frank, I wouldn't attend if my partner was being excluded. Not the asshole. Reading the edit makes it seem like this is her chance to introduce him to all the family, which is not what the gathering is for. She can do that on her own time and not take the spotlight away from you and your wedding. Not the asshole, it is your wedding, you get to choose who is invited. However, be prepared for the outfall of that, i.e. she may decide not to come to your wedding at all. Not the asshole. I always find it a bit ironic when a couple having an affair, both of them cheating on their partners, are so hot to trot to attend an event where marriage vows are exchanged. Not the asshole. Don't invite him, and if she doesn't come then oh well. She's an adult, and if she isn't listening to your or her loved ones then unfortunately she will have to learn the hard way.